What would you do if you came home early, opened your bedroom door, and saw your boss with your wife? And instead of reacting, you quietly closed the door and walked away. Because that's exactly what David Miller did. And that was the moment everything changed, but not in the way anyone expected. Because most people would fight, scream, destroy everything in that moment, but David didn't. He stayed silent. And that silence was the most dangerous thing about him, because just minutes later, he sat in his car, not crying, not shaking, just thinking, replaying everything. The late nights, the strange messages, the sudden promotions his boss had promised. And in that moment, he realized something. This wasn't a mistake. It was a pattern. And if you think he confronted them, he didn't. Not that night, not the next day. Instead, he went to work like nothing happened, smiled, greeted his boss, sat at his desk, and started watching. Because if there's one thing people underestimate, it's a man who already knows the truth. And over the next few weeks, David became invisible. Not weak, invisible. Listening to conversations, noticing changes, tracking decisions. Because his boss, Richard Cole, wasn't just sleeping with his wife. He was using his position, bending rules, moving company money, trusting that no one would ever question him. And slowly, David started connecting everything. Small details at first, then bigger ones, until the picture became clear. His boss wasn't just immoral, he was careless. And that was his weakness. And that's when David made a decision, not to expose him immediately, but to wait, to let him feel safe, to let him go further. Because the higher someone climbs through lies, the harder they fall. And while his boss was distracted, spending more time with David's wife, making promises he didn't plan to keep, David was building something else. Evidence, records, patterns, things no one could deny. And if you think this ended quickly, it didn't. It took months, patience, control, because revenge isn't loud, it's precise. And then one morning, everything collapsed. Not for David, but for his boss. Because during a routine company audit, questions started coming up. Transactions that didn't make sense. Approvals that pointed back to one person. And for the first time, Richard felt pressure, real pressure. And as investigators dug deeper, they found more. Hidden accounts, misuse of funds, decisions tied to personal relationships, including one name that kept appearing, David's wife. And that's when the story turned, because suddenly the same woman who thought she had secured a better life became part of the problem, dragged into something she didn't fully understand. And when the truth finally came out, it didn't come quietly. It came with consequences, termination, public exposure, legal action. And just like that, the man who thought he had control lost everything. And if you think David celebrated, he didn't, because by the time his boss realized what happened, it was already too late. And the most shocking part, David never exposed him directly. He simply gave the truth to the right people at the right time and let it destroy him. And when everything was over, when the power was gone, when the money disappeared, both his boss and his wife had nothing left. No status, no security, no illusion. And that's when they came back, standing in front of David, broken, asking for forgiveness, expecting anger, expecting rejection. But what they got was worse, silence. Because David looked at them calmly and said something they would never forget. "I didn't lose anything. I just removed what didn't belong in my life." And in that moment, they realized something too late. They didn't just betray him, they underestimated him. And as David walked away, not looking back, not reacting, just moving forward, one truth remained. Sometimes the most powerful revenge is not destroying people. It's letting them destroy themselves while you quietly step out of their world. So tell me, if you were in his position, would you have reacted in that moment? Or would you have done exactly what he did and waited? And if this hit you, don't forget to subscribe, because the next story might be even closer to your reality.